When a woman presents to a hospital with a heart attack, she's 50% more likely to be misdiagnosed than men. And that's because it shows up a little bit differently and the training is not equal between men and women. And, so I think even on that conventional side, we're at a little bit of a disadvantage in a lot of ways. But then when it comes to the softer symptoms, like the things that you talked about, the mood changes, the memory changes, it seems like there's not a lot of help.
I think a lot of it is because research hasn't been done on women, the investment hasn't been there. And I think, women are quite dismissed in those sort of early stages of perimenopause. I had a woman today in clinic being told by her doctor, you're too young. She's 44, and yet we know changes can occur, from your late 30s onwards. And so I think there is that sort of lack of awareness, knowledge, dismissiveness. And women do present differently. And even with metabolic health, one of the things I do in clinic isn't just look at your sort of your periods and your cycle and your hormones. It's looking at your future health. And I think that, the parameters are sort of set more for male health, whereas we need to think differently for women. Even when it comes to sort of pre-diabetes, when we're looking at, lipids, we need to sort of shift the goalposts a little bit to what is the normal range for women and be a bit more sort of intervention early. And I think especially with things like cardiovascular disease, because women do present differently, they do have different symptoms. And it's equally so here in the UK that they could easily be dismissed because they don't have those classic signs of crushing central chest pain that we get taught at medical school. And I think that is down to that lack of research and investment in women's health.